you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Secretary, for being here with us this morning. Always enjoy our time with you. When you first assumed the job, we sat down at length in my office, and you laid out a vision with how you'd like to see the organization change from having been on this side of the dais. And it was a pretty daunting task. You've got the largest agency outside the Department of War, and bureaucracy never changes easily. Last year, when there was a lot of angst and consternation about changes that were being made and DOGE cuts and things like that, and revealing the challenges, once you were able to lift the hood and see what was in there. But I'm really encouraged by the results we're seeing so far. You've shared some of those, but I do think some of these bear repeating, just for people out there who are wondering, are we really making that progress? But, enrolling 140,000 new veterans last year in 2026, that's a big deal. You opened 35 new facilities. You've alluded to some of the challenges with the construction side. The backlog is a huge thing. That's what I was hearing more than anything else when I first came into this role, but reducing that by 70% of folks waiting to get their benefits. And then, the veteran homeless situation we face in all of our communities across the country, but permanently housing nearly 52,000 last year. That's the highest in 7 years. The CMS report, that's great results. It's not good enough just to compare yourself to VA, but also how we stack up on the outside. But I am curious at this point, you've talked about construction challenges, electronic health records. What are a couple of the things that have been most surprisingly stubborn and obstinate to change? And, what are the biggest barriers from the next level of success when you're back here next year for us?
Okay, here's where I'll get in trouble. The biggest barriers I found is there's some people who are wedded to a broken system. They like the way it was. And I'm saying that in general. I'm not going to be specific, but in general, there's a lot of people who have become used to the VA being bureaucratic and non-responsive. There's actual organizations outside this building, members and people inside the VA, that they know it only one way. And so when you start changing things and making it better, more efficient, getting those things in, there's a lot of resistance from both outside and inside. There's nothing more fearful than be on the tip of the spear in the point of change. Machiavelli. That's exactly what's happening right now. So mine has been amazing that when we go to things that should have been changed for 30 or 40 years ago, and all of a sudden now we're just saying we're bringing it up to, we've never done it that way before. No, you haven't, because it's broken and you like it broken. So I think what is overcoming that as best we can with communication. We're never going to be perfect. Nobody is on this side of heaven. But I think we were making progress in communication. I'm trying to change an organization, and I said this yesterday in the Senate. And the second thing, you talk about surprises. One of the big surprises I had was that we had a VA workforce that had been so used to being told how bad they were and how much things were wrong, and being slapped on the hand and saying, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. My veteran didn't get seen on time yesterday. He waited 2 weeks. Why did this happen? They got so used to hearing that most of them just repelled back. They didn't want to answer questions. They didn't want to step forward. They didn't want to have discussions, because at a certain point in time, if all you're told is how bad you are, they never get told how good they are. I've got the best workforce in the country. And right now they're responding, but they're not used to being able to go and make leadership changes. They're not used to having an executive director who can actually go out and make the changes, get rid of people, put people in the right places, make the staffing changes they need to. They've never had that ability. We're actually giving that to them now. It's going to take a little while for that cloud to lift, but as that cloud lifts, I've been in facilities for the last 3 months, you can see the difference. I had a chief of staff at, I'll say, at an unnamed facility who looked at me last year. And I'll be frank with you, she looked at me, and I told her some of the plans I had. She looked at me and gave me that look that my kids and my wife give me. Yeah, right. That's just that resting face that you said, no, that ain't right. I was with them recently. I'd have thought there was a new person. And she actually said, I didn't believe you, but it is working.
I'm encouraged I'm eager to hear how that continues to progress. I'm also interested on the issue of veteran suicide, PTSD. All of us who have served painfully know all too well the tragic consequences we continue to live with. I've been encouraged by what we've seen with the psychedelic treatments. I've known a lot of people who've left the country and done treatments outside, or have done things unsupervised, illegally, but swear by it. And I was encouraged that we've gotten some money in there for trials. I'm interested to know if we have any early feedback, what you're hearing from that. And if that is a good thing, if it turns out to bear the fruit like we think it might, what's integration going to look like? What should we be doing from a congressional side to help pave the way for making that part of the treatment protocol?
I think continuing to lead the way, and just making it very known is, again, I was just sharing the other day, this is my first time appearing before committees as actually a veteran. I retired last Saturday.
Congratulations.
After 25 years in the Air Force. And so sitting here is a little bit different now, because I want to say, I'm still in the Air Force. No, I'm a veteran. So I'm wanting my disability claim done quickly. But, I think the biggest thing is looking at that is I know what other veterans are going through, and I've been there in Iraq. I was there, and I've seen what's coming. And the psychedelic, as someone who sees the results, if it works for a veteran, it goes back to my main premise. If it's working for a veteran, then we're gonna find every way we can. Some things that people may not know is we were already doing psychedelic issues. We did with MDMA, we've done it with ketamine, we've done it with psilocybin. We already have those. In fact, we have a new study that has started right now, MDMA, that is sort of out of this whole process. It's an all-veteran that we're doing on our own, which I'm very excited about. The results have been really good. They don't work 100%, but they work a lot. And I need to get this out in public. Ibogaine is the one talked about a lot. Ibogaine has still got to go through FDA. They still got to formulate the REM and the plan to actually how we would do that. So it's not available right this minute. We're hoping within the next 12 months, or as this progresses, to get those out as quickly as possible. The VA is working hand in glove with HHS and FDA to make sure we have proper protocols and everything in place, because we don't have the longitudinal studies on how it affects in that particular case, but we're committed to making sure that we're going to follow through on the President's EO and also the work that we've already been doing.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. And I'll yield back, Chairman.